Good evening and hello world, I'm Miyah and I would like to welcome you to the latest episode of my blog series. So far I have been able to share my own experiences on what it's like for me to live with Aspergers syndrome. A second thing that I will do is give my 2 cents on what's going on with autism in the media. A third area entails providing tips and advice for those of you that have Aspergers syndrome or an autism spectrum disorder. And I also like to give tips to family members, friends, peers, mentors, educators, employers, employment supports like job coaches, social workers, anybody in the medical field, as well as regular people that live in our community. And finally, I will cover topics on things that I'm passionate about. Now, before I dive into this evening's topic, the first thing I would like to do is mention this. So, if you click up here on the upper right-hand corner, this is a TED Talk by a gentleman named Kerry Magro, and he has mild autism, or rather an ASD, as he likes to call it, and his TED Talk is on what's going to happen to individuals on the autism spectrum as they age and become adults. And you can find out more about him in the TED Talk as well as in the description below, because I have provided a few links. A second thing I would like you guys to do is check out my written blogs on WordPress.com, which are scholarly and WordPress or practical application based. And I recently updated by writing a new blog on the Wings for Autism program, so please be sure to check that out. What I would like to do now is give my tips and advice for people that are not only on the spectrum, but as well as other people that are outside the autism community as well, because I think this is really critical. So a couple of months ago, I had written a letter to a former boss who I just have never been eye to eye with. And this boss did not treat me very well, or rather, we just didn't get along. And they had a child with severe autism, which was an adult. However, they just were not the most understanding towards people with Asperger's syndrome, because when I worked there, I noticed that they seemed to get made fun of, and they also were ridiculed a lot, and I was one of those people. And I recently wrote a letter, and I explained that their behavior was unacceptable, along with also mentioning that they were not the most understanding to me, even though they had a child with autism. And I felt like rather than telling me what I did was wrong, I felt like they dropped lots of hints of sarcasm. And I got a letter back from them accusing me of using my autism as an excuse. And I'm not happy because of those reasons, which, of course, I know is a lie, because this boss and I had not spoken to each other in over 4 years. So I wanted to drive out some of my ideas or my opinions on the matter, because I think this is really important again. So there is a fine line between educating someone with autism and actually using an excuse. Now, an actual excuse in regards to autism entails maybe talking about how you can't do it because you're autistic, or your autism keeps you from living a self-fulfilling life, and you're just you're a Debbie Downer all the time, and you whine about how you struggle with this or that. Or you use autism as an excuse to manipulate other people because you don't want to do something, or you want to get away with something. For example, let's say you want to get away with bad behavior, like hitting or kicking somebody. Well, my autism gives me bad reflexes, and you know that's a lie. Or my autism made me do it. Or my autism won't let me pass a job interview, or my autism won't let me have a normal career. My autism ruins it for me. So those are excuses. Now, on the contrary, educating people, like I did with my former boss of the company that I used to work for, I was trying to tell them that people with autism or Aspergers do not understand sarcasm and do not comprehend it without you being direct. A lot of times we can't understand the difference between something being said figuratively and literally. And sometimes other people do not understand that. Another way that I think one with autism would be educating someone is by letting them know, well, I would love to come, but I have to have special types of glasses in order to be in this environment because I can't stand bright lights, or I can't stand flickering bulbs. Another thing that you need to do is mention that, well, I can't understand or I can't read a piece of paper without seeing the letters jiggling. And see, a lot of people think that you're making up big excuses, and that's just not the way it is. So anyway, I'm out of time for tonight. If you liked what I talked about, please be sure to subscribe. And also do not forget to comment below and share this with your autism resources out there. And also be sure to check out my other resources. Until next time, I'm Miyah Sundermeyer, and I'm signing off.